friends, welcome to TalentSprint. I'm here to assist you with your application procedure for the State Bank of India Probationary Officers examination. Now, before we get started, a couple of highlights. The first thing that you need to know is there are about 2,313 vacancies for this post. Yes, it's a tight competition, but it still means you have the opportunity to be one among the 2,313. The second thing that you need to be aware of is the biometric verification is digitalized for verifying the genuineness of the candidates, which means at every stage wherever applicable, your thumb impression will be taken. So any discrepancies on this aspect could lead to rejection of the candidates. The third thing you need to be aware of is there are no changes when it comes to the scheme of examination and the recruitment process as such. We look at this shortly. The fourth thing that I'm sure you will be aware of is by now that the registration for the online application has already begun, right? And the last date to apply would be 6th March, which means including any payment or any changes that you need to make for your application procedure also falls on the same date, 6th March 2017, right? Now, apart from this, the preliminary exam, the date that it commences would be April 29th and 30th. That's roughly about 2.5 months. I think it's good enough time for you to start your preparation strategy, smartly. If you plan accordingly, it wouldn't be that much of a challenge, right? So let's look at the eligibility criteria. Who is eligible to apply? Now, if you're a graduate in any discipline from a recognized university, or you hold an equivalent qualification as such recognized by the central government, you qualify. Final year candidates, final year students also can apply as long as you're able to provide proof of having completed your graduation on or before 1st July 2017. Chartered accountants can also apply for this post. The age limit, not below 21 years, not above 30 years as on 1st April 2017. Now, for relaxation of upper age limit, please do refer to the notification. So what's going to be the selection procedure? Now, the examination as such will happen in 3 phases, right? There's phase 1, which is your preliminary examination, which will have 3 sections: English language, quantitative aptitude, and logical reasoning. The English language will have 30 questions, while quant and reasoning will have 35 questions each. So that's a total of 100 questions, 100 marks for 1 hour, right? So those who qualify in the preliminary round will be shortlisted and move to the main exam, which is phase 2, right? Now, the main exam has 2 parts to it. The first part is the objective test. Now, the objective test has 4 sections, right? That's for 200 marks and that's for 3 hours. Let's quickly take a look at the breakup of the same. Okay, so here we have the 4 sections. Let's look at the breakup. The first section, reasoning and computer aptitude, 45 questions for 60 marks in 60 minutes, 1 hour. Then you have data analysis and interpretation, second section, for 35 questions for 60 marks in 45 minutes. The third section is general economy and banking awareness. That's 40 questions for 40 marks in 35 minutes. And then you have the English language section, 35 questions for 40 marks in 40 minutes. So that's a total of 155 questions for 200 marks in 3 hours. So note there is separate timing for each section, right? So the second part to the main exam is the descriptive test, right? That's for 30 minutes, 50 marks. It's from the English language, obviously. And of course, predominantly, you will be tested for letter writing and essay writing. So what we need to keep in mind is there is penalty, right, for wrong answers. And this is for both the preliminary section as well as the main exam. So which means 1/4 of the marks allotted or assigned for the question will be deducted for every wrong answer. So in case you leave a question blank or do not attempt it, then of course there is no penalty for wrong answer. And then those who qualify for the main exam, phase 2, will be called for the group exercise in the final interview, which is phase 3. Now phase 3, there are 2 parts to it again. Group exercise is for 20 marks, and then you have the final interview, which is for 30 marks. So the aggregate marks of candidates qualifying in both the objective test and the descriptive test, right, will be arranged in descending order in each category, and then the bank will call adequate number of candidates in each category for the group exercise and the final interview. Now the final merit list, right, will be inclusive of marks obtained only in phase 2 and phase 3, which is your main exam, right, the objective test and the descriptive test, and then your group exercise and the final interview. So which means the marks obtained in your preliminary examination is not going to be included. Now the bank's website will have the final list of selected candidates. Now this information will also be available in the employment news and Rozgar Samachar. Now do refer to the notification for details like, download of call letter, academic specific qualifications. Now, if you haven't applied yet, let me take you through the step-by-step procedure of how to apply. But before we get started, you need to be ready with certain relevant documents, right? Like your mark sheets, your marks obtained, right? As well as other prerequisites. What are those prerequisites? Make sure you have a valid email ID and make sure it's active until the time of declaration of results. The second thing that you need to keep ready is a digital or a scanned copy of your photograph and signature, right? Photograph specifications, it just has to be a recent color passport size photograph, right? Not more than 50 KB in size. And then your signature, make sure it's on a white paper and signed in black ink pen. Again, not more than 20 KB in size, right? And one thing to note when it comes to the signature is do not sign in capital letters. So when you have all of this ready, I think you are ready to get started with the application procedure. So let's begin. So you'll have to log into www.sbi.co.in/careers, or you can log into www.statebankofindia.com/careers. So as soon as you log in, it's going to take you to this home page. Now, if you look at the left-hand side, you have all the important events. Basically, it tells you the dates when the online registration begun, which is on the 7th of this month, and then the closure of registration is on the 6th of March, and the last date for printing your application is 21st of March of this year. And then the online fee payment also, the start date and the closing date is the same, right? 7th, and then the last date for your online fee payment is 6th March. Now on the right hand side, if you see, of course, you have a provision to feed in your registration number and password. Now this will come into play in the event that you have not been able to complete your application in one sitting or in one go, right? Then what happens is a registration number and a password is generated. It's sent to your email ID, and the same is also available during your application process, which I'll show you. It'll pop up on the top of the application process, right? You can make a note of it. And so in case you don't have, details ready or available, or you want to cross-check and make sure, it's accurate information that you're feeding in, you can do that. But please note, you will not be able to use this more than 3 times, right? The maximum attempts that you can make is only 3 times using this registration number and password to log in back, make any changes and complete your application process. And if you scroll down, you have reference documents. So it says how to apply, and then you have frequently asked questions for online registration process. So how to apply basically gives you guidelines for filling out the online application, which I'm taking you through either ways, right? And then you have frequently asked questions. I would advise you to go through this because it gives you information on what should you do in case there is a delay in accessing your page, or in case you're not sure if your application went through or is registered, or you did not receive an email notification or intimation, and what happens the event that your computer crashes or you face some sort of a internet issue, right? So it's good for you to go through this so you'll be aware of what to do and what not to do in certain specific situations. So right now, let's begin the application process. Let's click here for new registration. So immediately you have some important points to be noted. You can quickly scroll through this as well. It gives you information on in terms of, What's the educational qualification, age, what are all the modes of payment that you can make avail of for your online payment, etc. Right? And if you see there are 5 steps: basic info, step 1, then uploading your photo and signature, step 2, step 3, some details, and then step 4 is the preview, and step 5 is your payment procedure. So let's start with the basic info. So feed in your first name and confirm it again. Your middle name, confirm it again. And then your last name, confirm it again. And please note that the name that you've entered here must match that of any proof that you will be submitting, right, at the time of the examination and the interview. Feed in your mobile number, and you can also feed in an alternate mobile number. Feed in your email ID, and remember, this is something that needs to be valid and active. Confirm it. And enter the word in the text box as in the image. Click on Save and Next. So it says, are you sure the data entered in is correct, as no change, edit of application will be allowed after final submit? If yes, click OK, otherwise click cancel. Not to worry, go ahead and click OK, it will take you to the next step. You still have step 4 to preview whatever information that you fed in. Now please note this green rectangular box appearing on top, which has your provisional registration number and your password, which you can make note of. And it says here your registration will be valid only when an application fee, intimation charges are paid, and your candidature will be considered for recruitment of probationary officers in State Bank of India, advertisement number so-and-so in State Bank of India. So let's go ahead and upload the photograph and signature wherever you've saved it. So this does have a provision of guidelines for scanning the photograph and signature, but this information is also available, in the notification. So you don't have to wait until you get to the stage of going through the application procedure. You can always refer to that and have the specifications taken care of and be ready. Let's click on Next. So now it's going to ask you for some basic details. So choose your category, SC, ST, OBC or General, whichever is applicable. So it says a box pops up saying please indicate your category correctly in the online application form. No change in category will be permitted after submission. Candidates belonging to OBC category but coming in the creamy layer are not entitled to OBC reservation and age relaxation. They should indicate the category as applicable. Click on OK. If you're not a person with disability, click on No. So the remaining 2, 3, 4, whatever is related to disability will not hold applicable. So if you are from the state of Jammu and Kashmir during the period, a specific period is mentioned, 1/1/1980 to 31st December 1989. If that is the case, do click appropriately. If not, click No. Select the religion to which you belong. Whether you belong to religious minority community, click accordingly. Are you an ex-serviceman? Click accordingly. So please mention the number of occasions on which you have appeared for the examination for recruitment of probationary officers in SBI, or appearing in preliminary examination will not be counted as a chance. So some of us have attempted it thrice, 4 times, even 5 times. So mention the number of times you've attempted this exam. The next question. Do you have record of default and repayment of loans, credit card dues, and or against whose name adverse report of civil or other external agencies? Do you have No. Do you have adverse report regarding character and antecedents moral turpitude? No. Are you an employee of the State Bank of India and the clerical office cadre? No. Are you an ex-employee of State Bank of India and resigned from the bank while in the clerical officer cadre? No. Do you hold an Aadhaar card? If yes, click yes, feed in your 12-digit Aadhaar card number. Feed in your PAN number. Select the state or union territory to which center of exam belongs. Center of examination. The examination center for the main exam again. Right, and then we move on to our date of birth. So select the gender, marital status, click this box if the permanent address is the same as address for correspondence. Right? And then after you go through everything, click on validate your details. It says verified successfully. Click OK, save and next. Now the second part to the details is your qualification and languages. So let's quickly read this note here for the educational qualification. The date of passing eligibility examination will be the date appearing on the mark sheet or provisional certificate issued by the university or institute. In case the result of a particular examination is posted on the website of the university institute, a certificate issued by the appropriate authority of the university or institute indicating the date on which the result was posted on the website will be taken as the date of passing. Those who are in the final year or semester of their graduation may also apply provisionally, subject to the condition that if called for interview, they will have to produce proof of having passed the graduation examination on or before 1st July 2017. The percentage marks shall be arrived at by dividing the total marks obtained by the candidate in all the subjects in all semester year by aggregate maximum marks in all the subjects irrespective of honors, optional, additional optional subject if any. The fraction of percentage so arrived will be ignored, that is 59.99% will be treated as less than 60% and 54.99% will be treated as less than 55%. Right? So usually we have a tendency to round it off, but that's not the case here. So your graduation, if you've appeared, click on appeared. If you're in your final year, this is what will be applicable. If you've graduated, then click on passed. So after you've filled out your graduation details, right, the stream, the university, the date of passing, your percentage of marks, what class or grade, if post-graduation and other segments apply, please feed that in. If not, move on to other details. You will not be able to select this part, whether desirous of take pre-exam training or not. So skip that. Feed in the languages known. and validate your details. It says verified successfully, so save and next. So here is your step 4, preview, right? So you can go through all the information. It starts off with your registration number, then it shows you all the details that you fed in, your full name, category, right? So do take a look and review your Aadhaar card number, your PAN number, have you made any typo errors? Just check for that. So verify your personal details as well, right? So once you are absolutely sure that all the information that you fed in is correct, accurate, right? You can go ahead and click on this button here, I agree. So the declaration says very clearly, I hereby declare that all the statements made in this application are true, complete and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. I understand that in the event of any information being found untrue or incorrect at any stage, or I am not satisfying any of the eligibility criteria stipulated, and also in case of creating influence or undue pressure regarding recruitment, shall tantamount to cancellation of my candidature. Right? So don't be in a hurry to click on this final submit, because once you do that, you can't go back and make any changes. So in case you want to double check, you can just leave this here, right? You can always use the registration number and password, log in again, verify the details, and then make sure everything is accurate and complete, and then you can come and click on final submit. So it asks you again, are you sure? As no change or edit of application will be allowed after submit. Click on OK. It will take you to the final stage, which is the payment stage, right? All you need to do is enter the word in the text box as in the image, right? And click on submit. Do you want to submit? OK. It will take you to the payment gateway, right? So you can choose the mode of payment. Are you going to use your credit card number, or you want to use your debit card option or internet banking, and there are other options as well. Make your payment and you're good to go. So now on successful completion of the application procedure, after you've made your payment, right, an e-receipt and your application form will be generated. You can of course take a printout and keep it for your own record. You don't need to send this to the bank. Now if for some reason your application did not go through, or you were unsuccessful in completing this procedure, not to worry, just register again and go through the entire process and make your payment, right? So that's about it. It's pretty simple. Nothing has changed from last year, right? And we from TalentSprint want to wish you all the very best for those of you who are appearing for this exam, and we will continue to kind of guide you in terms of your preparation. You can watch our video sessions, which will be available every Wednesdays at 6 o'clock, right? And once again, all the very best.